Hello, this lesson is over the coordinate plane. So this is how to graph a point on the coordinate plane, or you're given an ordered pair and how to read the coordinates, the x and y coordinates from it. So let's look at our number routine. Our number routine today is about mystery number. I am a fraction greater than 1/2, 1 and 1/2. In simplest form, I have a denominator 10. I am less than 1 and 75 hundredths. What am I? So let's see. I'm going to guess right now it is a mixed number. That is that is 1 and something, because it can't be greater than 1.5, so it can't be 2 or something, but it can't be I am greater than 1.5, so it can't be less, I'm sorry, less than 1.5, but it can't be greater than 1 and 7,500. What is another way to say 1.5 in decimal form? Some of you may already know this, but if I want to use place value, either 10 or hundredths, how do you build 2 to a 10 times 5? So that's 1 and 5 tenths. So it has to be greater than 1 and 5 tenths, or 1 and 50 hundredths, or 1 and 5 tenths is a decimal equivalency, but less than 1 and 75 hundredths, 1 and 75 hundredths. So what is a good alternative for this one? I'm going to try, so if this is 1 and 5 tenths or 1 and 50 hundredths, well, give me a number. Let's try 1 and 60 hundredths. If I simplified it in simplest form, I will have a denominator of 10. Let's see if that is correct. I divide both numbers by 10, and I get 6/10, or 1 and 3/5. So I see that cannot work. This is not a good choice, because 1 and 6/10 will simplify to 1 and 3/5. It said in simplest form, my denominator has to be 10. Let me erase this. What about 71 and 70 hundredths? If I simplify this and divide the numerator and denominator by 10, I'll get 1 and 7/10. Hey, I think I have the answer. I am a fraction greater than 1.5. 1 and 7 tenths, this is it in decimal form, is greater than 1 and 50 hundredths. So far good. I have a denominator, it's simplest form of a denominator 10. It works. I am less than 1 and 7,500, and it is. And if I want to write this in fraction, improper fraction form, 10 times 1 is 10 plus 7 is 17/10. All right, so this is a video. Let me get the sound for it.
This place looks expensive. I feel like I'm wasting a fortune just standing here.
As you can tell, Homer Simpson is in a twilight zone. I paused it on purpose to this sign right here. In this sign, you see X and Y, and you see a grid like somewhere here. What is this? Where is Homer Simpson? He is in the coordinate plane. In calculus, in upper level math, you're going to learn that there is a axis called the z-axis. That's like makes it three-dimensional. And you'll be learning something called vectors, and that's more physics and calculus. But in sixth grade purposes, and actually in junior high purposes, we talk about the x-axis and the y-axis. So on the floor in my classroom, as you walk in, you're going to notice a coordinate plane that's on the floor, a human, almost like a human number line. So And then you're going to be given different vocabulary words. So you're going to help me uh, put the vocabulary words all in the correct spot. So the first one you may see is something called x-axis. Where would the x-axis? In fifth grade, you learn how to graph on the coordinate plane. Hopefully, you remember the x-axis is right here. It is a horizontal. Again, horizontal goes from here to here. The way I memorize horizontal, it comes from the word horizon. And so horizon, you see the sun coming up over the horizon. So here's the sun. So this must be the y-axis. Notice how the x-axis and y-axis are have are goes from negative to positive. So in the x-axis, on the left-hand side of 0 are the negative numbers. On the right-hand side are the positive number. So it is a horizontal number line. And notice on the vertical axis, or the y-axis that goes up and down, the positive numbers are above 0 and the negative numbers are below 0. The next one, you're going to be learning something called quadrant. Quadrant 1. This coordinate plane is divided into 4 quadrants. Think of quadrants as regions, 4 area, 4 regions, 4 spaces. So quadrant 1. This is quadrant 2. We do write it with Roman numerals. So this is 1, this is 2, then this one must be quadrant 3. And last but not least, this is quadrant 4. And it's written 1 before 5 is 4. The starting point. So this is how I memorize quadrant. Some of you may think it's silly, but this is how I memorize it. Do you notice how the quadrant goes counterclockwise? This is the coordinate plane. How would you write the letter C? You would write the C like this way. So you start with quadrant 1, then you go to quadrant 2, then you go to quadrant 3, and you stop at quadrant 4. That's how I memorize it. So if I am given a task where it says, find this ordered pair, label it, plot it, and tell me which quadrant it's at, you will be able to do it because you remember this is the coordinate plane. So I write a big C. So this is quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, and quadrant 4. So next label. The next label is origin. Think about the word origin. Whenever your parents are doing InfoSnap or filling out a passport form, one of the questions is, what is your place of origin? That is, where are you from? Where's your place of birth? So where do you think is the starting point of the coordinate plane? Hopefully you said it's right here. It is. Origin is 0, 0. So here is a better, a more neater way of seeing it. So in this human coordinate plane, I'm going to give different students different order pairs. And they're going to find themselves somewhere, and they're going to stand somewhere. For example, if I handed a kid the order pair of -3, 6, where would they stand? So we always start at the origin. We always start with x-axis, then we go to the y-axis. This is how I think about it. Think of the alphabet. In the alphabet, X comes before Y. If you sing the alphabet song, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, M, N, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. So we start with the x-axis. So we start with the first number, -3. So looking at the x-axis, where do you see -3? Right here. The second number represents the y-axis. On this y-axis, where do you see 6? I see it above 0. So it's right here. If we put these two arrows together, we have a point right here. Sometimes we label that point with a letter A, B, C, depending on what they ask us to label it. But I'm going to, oh, I can slide this over and over, slide it over right there. So to read this ordered pair, the X is -3, the Y is 6, -3, 6. Which quadrant do you find -3, 6? I find it in quadrant 2. Next one. I would like you to draw, so next one, I will have someone say, stand somewhere in quadrant 4. So a boy or girl will stand somewhere here. And then I'm going to ask that student, name your order pair. So how would he do it? So let's see, this is X, this is Y. X-axis is 5, while Y-axis is -4. So 5, comma, -4. Then I'm going to have another student. Oh, let me erase this. 1 second. Let me erase this. Then keeping that 5, comma, -4. Then we're going to have, using directions, I'm going to have students find a second student, a secondary or third student will stand at another spot. I'll say, please come up here. I would like you to go standing at, so this person right here, I was like, I would like you to move. I would like you to move 7 units to the left. What does that mean? 7 units to the left. Left or right? I know our last year's STAR test, we had several students who did not know their directions. Think about it. This is a person right here. When you pledge allegiance, you pledge with your right hand. So if you're doing this, right would be down here. This would be left here. Another way of doing it is if you have your hand, make an L with your hand. So this is your hand. I can't draw very well. Here are the fingers. So if you make an L with your left hand, you'll see it L. All right, so let's continue on. This is almost felt like a kindergarten or first grade lesson. So I would like this person to move 6 units to the left. 1 unit, 2 unit, 3 units, 4 unit, 5 units, 6 units. And then I would like you to move 2 units up. 1, 2. And it's right here. Please label that order pair as the letter C. Now I want you to name it. So here, arrow, arrow. So X is -1, Y is -2. And what quadrant did you stop at? I stopped at quadrant 3. Let's practice some more. Let's have a person. Let me erase all this. Let's have a person stand at. Let's have a person stand at 5, comma 3. So X, Y. So starting at the origin, the first number is 5 on the X. That's the right of 0. The second number is 3. That's above. So that's 5, 3. So I would like this person to move 5 units south. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hopefully you remember your directional, north, east, south, west. 5 units south. And I would like this person to move 5 units west. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right here. Let me move this dot, just have it right there. If I ask, please tell me the order pair for that point, what would you say? Well, let's see the arrow. So here's one there. Whoops. Ugh. Let me get my pen. That goes here and here. So the x-axis is 0. The y-axis is -2. And what quadrant are you in? We're in no quadrant. We're actually on the y-axis. So the next activity, actually the last activity we're going to do is you're going to be given a whiteboard, and you are going to put the pieces together. Quadrant one, let's see, how do I memorize this again? What did he say? This is a quarter. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4. Sweet. So remember that. Let's erase this. Now, you're going to estimate where things go. 5, 4. 5, so first number is x. 4 means go, so it goes somewhere right here. 5, 4. Next one, -10, 9. So start at 0. On the x-axis, -10 is on the left. 9 is above or below? Above, so it goes somewhere here. 3, -5. So start at origin. 3 is to the right. -5 is north or south? Above or below? Below, and it goes somewhere here. 2918. So starting at origin, 29 would go definitely on the right-hand side. 18, so it's going to be somewhere out here in quadrant 1. -13, -19. So -13, would I go left of 0 or right of 0? Left. -19, north or south? South. So it's quadrant 3. -2, 5. So left or right? Left. 5 is above. So quadrant 2. 7, -12. So 7 is on the x-axis. That will be to the right. -12, is it north or south? South. That goes somewhere here. -3, -4. -3 is to the left of 0. -4 is to the south. Now, I would like you to try to make some generalizations. What do you notice about quadrant 1? What do you notice about, what do they share in common? 5 and 4 and 2918. Both numbers are, what type of numbers? What type of integers are they? Positive. Quadrant 1 contains nothing but positive numbers. Next one. What do you notice in quadrant 2? What can you tell me about quadrant 2? If you look at the x-axis, it's negative. Then the y-axis is positive. So quadrant 2, my generalization, is negative and positive. What do you notice about quadrant 3? -3, -4, -13, -19. What can you tell me about these integers? They're both negative integers. And on quadrant 4, the first number is 3, the second number is -5, 7, -12. First number, the x-axis is positive, while the y-axis is negative, so it's positive, negative. And so what we talked about today is how to read the order pair, the coordinates of an ordered pair, and plot. Just think of x, comma, y.